Recording. Okay, guys. There's a lot of problems where you just have to do evaluate the following indefinite integral. And you know that you need to send me your work because it will remain a 0 in my record book until I see the work. I still have a student in another class that has yet to send me any work. And I can't even, she won't contact me. But anyway, that's another story. So if you have looked at this, or if you see any problem down through here that you would like to see, let me know. Has anybody seen these problems or tried them?
Yes. I haven't yet.
Was there any type of problem that you would like to see?
When I did this on the math lab, number 29, I had
Issues?
troubles with, yeah.
Let me find 29. Okay. First thing I've got to do is integration. And if it's not e to just a nice little old letter, then I've got to use the u substitution. So I'm going to let u equal the negative x squared. So my du over dx would be a negative 2x. And see if you're in agreement with my work so far.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to integrate it first. My x's eliminate. So Peyton, is that all right so far?
Yes.
Now, when I get it down to this step, what's nice about it, if you remember, e to the u is not only its own derivative, but also its own antiderivative. So this just equals a negative 1/2 e to the u. But I'm going to go ahead and get what my u was because I'm running out of room, which is normal. So from here, I'm going to do my 2 parentheses. Because I'm going to let x equals 3 here and x equals 0 there. Get my calculator, which is getting, it's plugged up. If I put 0 in here, that's going to be e to the 0, right?
Yes.
And e to the 0 or any base to the 0 power is 1. So that would be a negative 1/2 back there. So I'm going to subtract 0.5. If it's rounded to 3 decimal places, that would be right there. It looks like it'd be 0.500. This is scientific notation. That means I would have to move my decimal 5 places to my left. So that'd be a negative point. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. around the 6170, and it just keeps on going. So that's why it looks like it's about, 0.5, because this is almost 0. But we need to go check ourselves. Get in a little bit closer. So I'm going to do second trace number 7, lower limit 0, upper limit 3. Now guys, if MATLAB says to round to 3 decimal places, go ahead and round it to 3 decimal places. 0.5 to me would be all right. So if someone answered 0.5 on here, my MATLAB may or may not count it correct. It's a weird program. So if it says to go to a certain decimal place, then just satisfy it and let it go. I will look at all your work, so that's not an issue. So Peyton, is that one any better?
Yeah, it's good. I think I just forgot that e to the 0 is 1, and I was trying to make the other one 0.
But you see, if I saw your work and you got down to here, that's still partial credit, guys. That's why I need to see the work. And to make me a little bit more happy, send it to me within 30 minutes of you taking the test. I had one student wait 3 days. There's no need to wait 3 days. It's so easy for something to happen to it. So how about some other problems, guys? We can look through here and see if there's any that catch your eye.
Could you look at number 38?
38?
Yeah.
Yeah. Set up the definite integral that represents the area bounded by the graphs of the indicated equations over the given interval. Compute answers to 3 decimal places. So this is my curve, and this is my other curve. It does ask us to find, or just to set it up. So we'll do that first. Let me graph it. Now this is on a Zoom 4, and it will look more like a circle as opposed to Zoom 6. In Zoom 6, it looks more oval. But this is one curve. My other curve is y equals 0. And I think you might be able to see that on here. Now I need you to watch my x-axis. I don't know if you can tell or not, but it's red. So if I am finding the area bounded by these curves, guys, it's between this half circle and the x-axis. So it's enclosed. We're going from -2 to 2. So the first thing I'm going to do, my lower limit, the one to the left, is -2. My upper limit is 2. I'm going to do top curve. Minus my bottom curve, but my bottom curve would be -0. So I don't need to put that. And then I'm going to have dx. So would the setup be okay?
Yeah. Do you not do anything with the radius stuff, like the x squared plus y squared equals r squared?
Mm-mm.
It's just, no? Okay.
Nope.
Well, that
But
explains a lot.
but the thing here is we had one similar to this, I think on Monday, and I think Derek asked it. What is the area bounded by these graphs rounded to 3 decimal places? I would do it via calculator.
Okay.
So since it's already there, let me do second, number 7, lower limit -2, upper limit 2. $283. So if there's a setup, this is what I would like to see. And they're looking for lower limit, the value to the left, upper limit, your top curve minus bottom here. Bottom is just 0, so I don't have to have it. But do remember to put the dx. Remember, this is the height of the curve times this is the width, and that's where our rectangles, that's how we're getting our areas. So I need both of those things in there.
Okay.
So let me go back to page 1. And you're going to have just a lot of indefinite integrals. On these, I see some like in 2, 3, and 4. If you'll notice, there's x's in the denominator. Remember to move them up. In this particular problem, you would need to rewrite it. And then you would go from there. The numbers do not move, only the variables. This one needs to move up. Square root of x is the same thing as what raised to?
1/2.
1/2. So I'd have x to the 1/2 in the bottom, but when it moves up, it becomes a -1/2. And this one and this one are the very, very first rule that we had. Number 5, I can't do anything with a quotient, so I need to separate these. What does -1 tell you?
It's a log,
Yeah.
natural log.
So this first one becomes 4 natural log. Now my math lab likes absolute values. If you don't put it, it will count it wrong, but I will look back at every problem. This one plus 1 over, since my independent variable is u, so on this, they would want something like this. Please remember the C, because my math lab will count it wrong. If you have this part and this part, you will get credit. But to get full credit, remember you add that constant of integration. So do any of these catch your eye? You want to look at?
No.
On problems, looks like 7, 8, 9, and 10, you're going to have to integrate. And once you integrate, notice they're giving you a point on this. And here, if the population was 6,000 at the time of incorporation, so that would be 0 years. So I'd have a point there. But in these first four, you're getting to be able to find what the C value is, your constant of integration. And always remember, the value in here is your independent variable. So if you'll notice up here on number 7, I've got C prime of x. This is my x value, and this would be my C of 0 when I substitute in. Are those okay?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you're not going to have 4 on the test. More than likely, you'll have just 1, where you'll have to find what the constant of integration is. Starting with problem 11, 12, and 13, just on this page. This is U substitution, guys. I think the sneakiest of them all might be 11. Let me look at it a second. I have to move that whole denominator up, and it becomes a -1 power. This whole thing moves. And it is to the first power. So if I go do my U substitution, U would be my parentheses. So then I'm going to have U to the -1 times 6x times du over 6x. Very nice. So it looks like I just end up with natural log of U. But for my answer, I'd have that.
Now, I have a question about the writing in the natural logarithm. Even once after we substitute the phrase in for the U, do we still need to keep it in absolute value
Yeah.
form? Okay.
Yeah, this would be the answer that you would need to put. I just squared up something. It'll come here in a minute. That would be what you'd have to put in for your answer.
Okay, because I've gotten in the habit of using parentheses instead of the absolute
Well,
value
but
brackets.
Derek, if you use that, that's fine. But MyMathLab will count it wrong, and
Yeah.
I'll come right in behind MyMathLab and count it right. But I don't want you to get, get caught up with just little tiny things, which irritates me. I don't see why they don't use a parentheses, but that's just MyMathLab.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I wish I could do something about it, but I can't change the programming. But again, you use parentheses and you've got this, I'll count it right.
Okay.
I just don't want you too freaked out by your grade, because that grade in MyMathLab 9 times out of 10 changes. Any of these? Because all of these, let me see, what was that first one? 11 all the way down through 17. Those are all U substitutions, every one of them. So do you see any that you might like to see?
No, looks good.
You'll have some of these. I mean, get it moved on up. How are these guys?
I think those
Good.
are the easiest.
Yeah.
Just be careful. Make sure that whatever lower limit they have here, you know the direction you're going. And also, these lower limits have nothing to do with the capital letters. So know what section you're going with. And it's sort of hard to see on this one because it's sort of dark. But I'm going from B up to 0. So my answer here should be a -2.713. when they're asking me to calculate. There is no word here about area, no word at all. So there's going to be some on there, at least 2 that I know of. Just all I'm asking you to do is be careful. So those are okay, guys?
I think so, yeah.
Daniel, I know you're there. Will and Tyler, I know you're there too. You all right on those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Peyton?
Yes, sorry, my mute thing wasn't working.
That's okay. So on these are called definite integrals. When you have numbers, a lower limit and an upper limit. So remember on these, your first job is to integrate. Second job is to substitute. And in this particular problem, once you substitute, remember I asked you to use parentheses and its upper value substituted in minus lower value substituted in. So however you do these problems, just, just show me your work. I moved it up. It'll move up here in just a second. There we are. Can you tell me the answer of 25? And you should not integrate.
0.
It is 0. Look at your limits. If you're going from 9 to 9, you have no area. All you have is a straight line. And a straight line has no width. It has no area. So it would be 0. So more evaluation. Why don't y'all try 30? I'll be quiet for a couple of minutes. And I'll do it on a sheet of paper if I can find me a sheet of paper. Let me know when you get something.
I've got an answer.
Was it negative?
Yep.
My paper's coming up. So how did you all do?
Good.
Got it. Got it.
Good, good, good. And guys, always double check yourself via calculator. Now, your answer doesn't jive with the calculator. Do not look back over your work. Get another sheet of paper and try it over again. You look back over your work, you're going to recreate the exact same error. You won't be able to see it quickly. Just go do another problem and do it over. So the rest of y'all, you okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Derek, I'm going to ask you a question. What does that mean to do? Wait, my finger will pop up. Derek, do you
Use
remember?
numerical integration routine. It means use the calculator.
Yes,
Graphic.
sir. Use the calculator. If you see that, you just go straight to the calculator.
All right.
Why they can't say that, don't ask. Don't ask. Any of these on here you might want to see? I think we actually did a problem like 32 in class. Guys, if it's a word problem, I would like to see the setup. Now you are going to have to find useful life, and that's when your revenue and your cost cross each other. That's where they're equal. Easiest way to do that is via calculator. So you can find useful life. Now, the useful life of the machine in dollars, use your calculator on these. The biggest thing is I want to see the setup. So you might have to answer that question, but after that, do the integral. And it's from 0 because that's when the photocopying machine was bought. It's always revenue minus cost. This will be the top curve minus bottom curve. And then once you find this, they want it to the nearest year, then you'll have that particular value. But once I have that, then go straight to your calculator, find it. $33, $34. Can you set those up?
Yeah.
This area right here is understood to be what? Sign-wise.
Positive?
It is positive. Let me put the question mark. That's good. It is positive. If it's below the x-axis, it is negative. So if you need to set this one up, this one's straightforward. You've got A to B, and it's your function. Now this one down here, there's a couple of ways actually. You know, you could use absolute value. around the whole thing. You could do a minus in front because they want to find something to represent the shaded area. Now, let me ask you this. What if I did this? What would that do if I go from right to left?
Yeah, that would work. That would change it to a negative.
That will change that negative to a positive because I'm going in the opposite direction. And if you go in the opposite direction, you change sign. So that would work too.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
I said it wrong.
I knew what you meant. Find the area bounded by the graphs. What are you supposed to do first if you see these directions?
Graph it on the calculator.
Graph it. You got to graph it because you need to see what curve is on top with respect to the interval that they're talking about. So graph it on the calculator first, and it's always top curve minus bottom. Now, do you see any of these that you might like to do? You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So using production and geological data, the management of an oil company estimates oil will be pumped from producing field at a rate given by the following. And this function is true from 0 to 15. R of T is the rate of production in thousands of barrels per year, T years after pumping begins. Find the area between the graph of R and the T axis, your x-axis, over the interval from 6 to 11. Interpret the results. So from 6 to 11, word problem. I want to see the setup. Then we're going to go to our calculator. It does say from 6 to 11 down here, and I'm going to show you an issue with your calculator. Let me do zoom 6. I haven't cleared out the circle yet. But my window with respect to the x-axis, guys, it only goes to positive 10. I'm going to have to make that bigger. The calculator will give me an error message if I don't. So I'm going to make this 15. Let's see if we can do this one quickly. 80 divided by x plus 8 plus 8. Ooh, I didn't do that. There we are. Now, my curve is on up here. If you want to make sure of that, if I go to second table for my graph, this is where my curve is. So if you want to actually see your curve, I need to have a Y max of 18. So maybe I'll make that 20. So there's my curve. So if I do second calc number 7 from 6 to 11. So approximate round to the nearest integer is needed. So I would say 64. Would that be okay? Everybody all right with that so far?
Yes.
All right. Now I need you to look at these interpretations. Go back up here and reread it if necessary. But figure out which one of those you would choose. Don't tell me. Just figure it out. Now, have you chose a letter yet?
Mhm.
Okay. Let's eliminate some of these. My T up here represents T years after pumping begins. Guys, what they gave me was from 6 to 11. A and B makes no sense whatsoever. It's not 64 years. And I've never heard years being in terms of square units. So A and B is out of there. Now I've got it down to C and D. Which one of those makes more sense with respect to what I was given?
C.
C does. So C would be my answer. At the end of the 6th year to the end of the 11th year. This one is from the 1st to the 15th. That was not the interval I was given. So you've got to be careful there. Y'all okay?
Yeah. Can we go back to number 38 again? I just
Yeah.
have a question about it. I know we did it already, but I just have a question.
It's coming back.
And I'm not quite sure. Hang on. Okay, never mind. I know what I was thinking.
Okay. Well, here's another useful life. To find it, set R prime of t equal to C prime of t. Go find your useful life on this. And once it round to the nearest 10th, let's see if we agree. Focus. Did you get that as your intersection?
Yes.
Okay, I need a second to Peyton.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Now, how would you type the answer in? Peyton and Derek, you can't answer. I need somebody else. Come on, guys. How would you type this in? Anybody? Says round to the nearest 10th. So I've got 1.3 9, the 3 is in the 10th place. So if I've got a number after the 3 that's between 5 and 9, what am I going to do?
1.4.
1.4. Now, to set up the integral, they want the area between the two curves. My two curves is right here. 0 is going to be my start because that's when they get the machine. The blue curve is above. My blue curve is R of t. So for me to set this up, I'm going from 0 to 1.4. 7e to the negative 0.4t minus 4 dt. Remember, if it's a word problem, set it up for me. Now I've got to put this function in. My calculator will not get area with respect to this particular picture. It has to be with respect to the x-axis. I'm going to do subtract 4. So I've got that. Let me ask it to graph. And it actually hits at 1.4 down here as well. Just wrote on my calculator. Second calc, number 7, 0, 1.4. Let me see. Now it says this is in thousands. So I need to multiply this by 1,000, and I would get, and they want it to what? Round to the 3 decimal places as needed. Use answer from previous step to find the following answer. So it looks like, well now, round to 3 decimal places, then that would be 1.903. But this is in thousands. So when you come on down here, see, it says total profit from the game was that over its usable life. Average, that's not an average. Total cost, this has got nothing to do with cost, nor am I doing average profit. So it'd have to be A. Oh, it should be 4. So guys, is there anything else that you might want to see or any questions you've got?
I've got a stupid question.
Oh, it's not stupid. What is it?
Just as a refresher, if you have a e to the, say, negative 2x or whatever, remind how to get the derivative of that.
The derivative?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me do y equals. So y prime, remember, you write that down, multiply it. Well, you write down the whole problem. So if there's a coefficient other than 1 here, you need to write it down here, but then you multiply by the derivative of the exponent.
Derivative of the exponent.
Yes.
Okay. I keep forgetting that part. Got it.
Okay, rest of y'all, do you have any questions? Is there anything you want to see, talk about?
I think I'm good.
Okay, don't go yet, because I got to say something here. I will go open the test up after we get through. Now, when you open it, you've got to start it because it's on a time factor. When you get through, send me your scratch work within 30 minutes. And guys, the due date is Monday, but the sooner you take it, the sooner I can tell you what your grade is, and you can decide whether you want to take the final or not. So we won't have class on Friday because that technically is when your test was due. Let me see. Let me go back and see what I've got for our schedule. So we're doing our review today. Remember, 13.1 quiz is due tomorrow. Friday, more than likely, I'll start figuring out what your quiz grades are with respect to, not your quiz grades, your test grade with respect to your quizzes. So make sure you get that 13.1 done. So is there anything else, housekeeping wise, that we need to take care of?
Just a quick question. If we decide that we don't want to take the final, I suppose for attendance purposes, we still need to participate in the online calls.
Nope, nope.
Oh,
Because when I figure out what your quiz grade is, Derek,
Mhm.
that's when I stop taking attendance.
okay.
So no, you won't have to, because those of you that have been consistently coming, then you're going to get your 100 points for that quiz grade.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, guys?
Nope.
Well, deadline is is Monday, the 27th, and the next time we'll get together will be on the 29th. Expect emails from me, because as I grade, I will be getting averages and I'll be sending emails out to you. Okay?
Okay.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
So y'all have a good Earth Day.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.